What's up? What's up? What's up, guys? Coach Darius here. Thank you for tuning in. So, hope everyone is well. All right. So, I am streaming this live from StreamYard.com. So, please make sure you head over to StreamYard.com/Facebook to that way when you make a comment, you come up as an individual and not just a random Facebook user. Okay. So that way we can use your name. We can put you, we can shout you out when you let us know where you're calling from and all of that good stuff. All right, gang. So happy Thursday. Happy Thursday to each of you. Really excited about tonight's guest. So let me know where you're calling from, where you're tuning in from. All right. And so make sure, as I said, go to StreamYard.com/Facebook. And please just hit that blue button, okay? And that will um, leave your name when you comment, all right? And let me know if you are watching this live. Let me know where you're checking in from. Give us a holler, all right? All right. So, gang, make sure you let me know where you're checking in from, all right? So tonight, I have a very special guest from the hometown. Hold on, let's see here. Just want to double check, make sure we're up and running just fine. Yes, we are. Jason, thanks for checking in, my man. The thumbs up. So just type your name. Let me know what's going on. All right. So tonight I have a very special guest from the hometown. Man, this fella. We started off as a competition. He was at a rival high school in the Catholic League of New Orleans, which is consists of a few different Catholic schools. Um, and so this is where our path crossed. We later started was training partners as we were both heading our separate ways to college. And so and since then we've been connected. And he has a very awesome, inspiring concept that I want him to share on. And I believe this can help you no matter where you are. And so the goal of this, our live stream, okay, this is going to be a thing, is that want to give you insights and tools and shifts to help you not only achieve a better body but achieve a better life, and to be at a place where you are you're working, you're competing with the best version of yourself, and you focusing on improving as a human being and becoming the best version of yourself. So everything we talk about won't be just fitness and nutrition and what exercise to lift the butt and what exercise to tone, lose belly fat. Like, it's going to be holistic approach to helping you achieve a better body and better life. All right, gang, and also have the confidence and the strength and the joy that we all so desire to help you in your day-to-day life. And so we're going to be speaking on it. Angela, thank you so much for tuning in. How have you been, my friend? Hope you and the family are all well and safe. All right, gang. So again, let us know where you're tuning in from. And so also let me know, like, if you're watching this live, or if you're watching this via replay, it's all love either way. And so we're going to be bringing on our guests in about 3 more minutes here. Okay. And I'm really happy and stoked to announce I'll be tonight's guest, Eric, last week's guest, Mr. Furman. What's up, man? How are you? Ready to pride, baby. Let's go. That's my high school math teacher, Mr. Furman. What's up, man? I hope all is well. So with that being said, I have a purple knight that I'm going to be interviewing. So those that don't know, St. Augustine, which is all boys Catholic school in New Orleans. My guest tonight went to St. Augustine. I went to Archbishop Rummel, and we clashed every single year in all sports. And so this was how this young man and myself crossed paths as competitors. Later on, as I said, we connected as friends and just training partners. Yes, Mr. Furman, we do. He's good people. So it's all good. And man, this brother here is inspiration to many and making a huge difference in the lives of the youth of New Orleans and beyond. And so I'm excited to bring on Michael Franklin today, he'll be joining the stream. Wait until we get 15 eyes here. Listen, all right? Let's keep the hearts coming. Let's keep the thumbs up coming. Really excited to get going. And so without further ado, I really want to take this time to introduce Michael Franklin. As I said, he was a 4-year letterman at San Diego State University as a running back there, star running back coming out of New Orleans, Louisiana. As I mentioned, St. Aug had the opportunity to go across season playing NFL Europe after college. The one thing, the guy's athletic prowess speaks for itself, but he's a much greater human being, and that's saying a lot than he is an athlete. And so much so, he was the recipient of the AIM Award at San Diego State, which was the Academic Initiative Award. And so he was the first recipient of the award. And they created this because of his work ethic, because of his discipline. And now the award is named in his honor. And so a huge round of applause for my main man, Michael Franklin.
Hey, what's going on, big guy?
Nothing much. How you doing, my man?
Oh, man, I'm doing pretty good. Thanks for asking, man. What about you?
I'm doing great. No complaints, man. I'm happy that we were able to connect. I was given a story on how we met and how we started as competitors in high school in the Catholic League. And so, several years later as seniors, I guess going and graduating and going into college, we worked together with Tom Shaw and became training partners. And ever since we've been connected. You were in San Diego, I was in Pennsylvania, but we would connect. And then we, thank goodness to Facebook and all of that, we found a way to connect.
Right.
And I want to tell a story, man. You imprinted on me is a funny thing. I remember when we changed numbers, you have a very interesting way, the way you put football or like teammates or anyone that you connect with, football players in your contact. And I always remember you go with I think first, last name, and then their football number.
Yes.
And so that was something I picked up. So any of my teammates since then, or anyone that I connect with that play ball against, or anything like that, I always put like their name, nickname, or whatever number as their contact in my phone. And that, like, shout out to you. You gave me that, so I appreciate that, my man.
Oh man, hey, that makes me feel good, man. Like you say, bro, the fact that we were on two different teams, opposing teams and rival teams in high school, and to know that we both had athletic talents that took us, far beyond New Orleans. It's amazing to know that the short time that we did connect, how such stories like that goes a long way. You know what I mean?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Connection, and that's what friendship is about, and that's what meeting people is about. Connection. So
yeah.
Thanks for remembering that, man. It makes me feel good.
Absolutely, man. I appreciate that. So, Mike, we're going to jump right into it, man. I think it's only right. And so, like I said, it's a tremendous honor to have you. I've been, following you for quite some time. And I like what you're doing with this concept that you have. I don't want to give it away right now, but we're going to definitely touch on that and get to it. But I feel like it's only right, Mike. We cross paths. The way we've connected has been football, man. I'm just curious to know, what has football, what role did football play in your life?
Wow. That's the $1 million question for me, because football was everything. Football is really everything to me. I know a lot of people have many different views on it. I know that's a question that I spoke with a number of people one time before in college, and everybody, have their own reason of liking it. But football for me was everything, because it allowed me to see things outside of the meager living in which I grew up. Right?
Yeah.
You get the opportunity to watch people like Emmitt Smith and Deion Sanders and Barry Sanders, guys of such nature, on TV, but you don't know if you can actually do that. But when you work real hard and you put your time and your commitment into a sport like football, and you realize how far it takes you, you'd be surprised how much you realize you love it. So football to me is everything, man.
Yeah, I hear that, man. And I'm going to go back, and so only someone that like a Mr. Furman or whatnot may be watching. He was my old math teacher, my math teacher in high school. And so, man, what's been like your fondest memory of the Catholic League and the competing? I have a story that I definitely want to share, but I would love to hear what's been your fondest memory.
The Catholic League for me was it was an exciting league to play in. Once I got to St. Aug, the one thing that they was trying to impress to me and help me understand, because I went to a public school before I got to St. Aug, and the criterion, if you will, or the standard or the level of play, depending on which school you went to, may not be as structured or as disciplined as the Catholic League, right? So coming into the Catholic League, one of the analogies that they would use to help me understand how big and how important the Catholic League was, I would always hear the seniors stress that the Catholic League is the SEC of high school football. I was like, whoa, and SEC, that's top notch. So when I put that around, wrapped that around my head, and I developed that mindset, that made me understand, the level of play week in and week out. And if you think about it, no matter who we played, whether it was Shaw, whether it was Jesuit, whether it was Holy Cross, whether it was De La Salle, it was a dogfight every game. So that's how the SEC is. So that's kind of how I looked at the Catholic League.
Yeah, absolutely, man. And I wanted to share, because it's only right, man. You was doing one of our Sunday swolls over the summer. I think I was traveling to Colorado, and you mentioned something, Catholic League. And I have a little scrapbook that my mom has, and I had to send over some pictures, man. And I wanted to send over to you from the all game. I was senior year, and I was telling to you before we hopped on how that is the most fond memory for me. Our senior year when we played you all at Tag Gorman, because the winner of that was essentially the Catholic League champion. And I felt like I've never been in such a dogfight. When I tell you I was spent, only thing I could do after the game was cry. Like I have this picture of me hugging my mom after the game, and I'm just like spent in tears, man. It was such a great game. I never forget. And it's just like when we talk about like putting your whole self in, and like just leaving it on the field, like that's how it felt. Like I had no emotion other than just cry. It's almost similar to when I completed the marathon, man. I don't know what came across me. I just started crying as I was crossing the finish line. Yeah, 2012.
Man, that's amazing, man.
One and done. What? I think I'm one and done, Mike. Though I think that's it for me. That's it.
I'm still trying to sprint a 13 miler.
Oh, listen, you got it, man. So, Mike, now that football is behind us, and I know a lot of training and things that we did was always about performance and trying to get an edge up on the competition, man. So, what role has fitness now that you're more of a recreational exerciser now? Like, what role has fitness played in your life?
Well, fitness has been an intricate part in my life, especially with my routine. As we talking about now, my former lifestyle was a college athlete, a professional athlete. So you have to have a certain routine and a certain mindset to execute all of those duties as an athlete, right? So once I got done playing, I realized how important those routines and that lifestyle, as far as working out, how essential it was to my everyday lifestyle, right? So what I did was I scaled back on the rigor of the actual workout as far as training as an athlete, and I scaled back to train as a civilian, as you will, outside of football. Also, some of my workouts still is strenuous. They're not as hard or as strenuous as they were when I was training as a professional athlete, right? So workout has added to my daily regimen as far as going to work. I have the energy that I need. My range of motion is there. I wear suits every day, so I go up the elevator, but mainly I'm always going up the stairs, right? I'm still functional. My functional movements is still there. My knees and my hips are still working real well. I noticed when I first got done playing, I was still like about 190, right? On a 5-second frame. I didn't need to be that big. I'm not playing anymore, right? So it took me about a year and a half, if you will, to kind of get down to, I want to say maybe like 180, 178. And then I continued to where I am now. And essentially I had to change my eating habits. But to still speak to the working out aspect, the working out still gave me the opportunity to push the weight how I normally would push it, to relieve a lot of stress, to keep my routine as steady and sturdy as it was on a Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. And that also attribute and contribute to my everyday life as an educator, as I matriculate throughout the school and interact with the kids and my co-workers. So working out has been very, very vital and very, very essential, I should say, to my livelihood.
Yeah. And so, Mike, if you can touch on, obviously we're in the middle of a pandemic, right? And I was just talking with one of my team members before this, and like a lot of the narrative, right? Obviously immune system is something that's big. And so my question is like, why is exercise and fitness important to you? And then why do you feel people should have a daily practice or a consistent practice of fitness and exercise?
Well, fitness is important because just as important as it is to water your plants and to make sure that you have art and operation throughout your life, we have something that we all know and identify as the solar system, right? We ourselves are humans, and the way in which our body and the way in which we move throughout our life, it's a rhythm, it's a system. Right, we have to eat, chew our food. The saliva help breaks the food down. Our teeth chew the food helps break it down so that we can swallow it, go down our esophagus, so on and so forth. Right, all of that is a system. So that's how I look at that actual working out. It's a part of a system of my life, and I can't deviate. I can't deviate from it, because if I do deviate from it, I feel like that I'm missing something. Right. So just as important, once again, as the solar system, that's just how important working out is in my lifestyle, or in my life. I like to tell some of the people at the gym that I'm always encouraging is that if my heart beats every day, I need to make sure I take care of my heart by working out. So that's one way that I remind myself that I stay on top of it.
Yeah, awesome, man. I opened up by talking about obviously the athletic prowess speaks for itself, man. Like you're one of the dopest dudes that I played against. You know what I'm saying? Played with, and so kudos to you on that, man. But the level of person that you are surpasses that, and I think that speaks volumes. And one of the things that's always stood out to me is the discipline and the work ethic, man. So like keep grinding, keep on keeping on. And so what I wanted to correct me if I'm wrong, but you are plant based, you're vegan.
Yes.
Correct?
Yes, absolutely.
Awesome. Nice. And how long has that been?
It's been, I want to say 3 years now.
Okay. Awesome, man. And so one of my other team members, she's been vegan, and this is a plug right here. So 2 weeks ago, I interviewed her speaking about her journey and her transition as a vegan and those sorts of things, man. So what my man Nissan my man Nissan, this is my wide receiver.
Okay.
I'm gonna have him on the show soon. He's coming on in January.
Nice.
But he was my receiver in college.
Okay.
And so being at home, man, like obviously everything that I get, everyone that I speak to, right? That know I'm from New Orleans, they always talk about the food. Always about the food. Obviously, I may be partial, a little partial, but I think it's the best food in the world. So how was you able to make that transition, given all that good food this season, man, and making that transition to vegan? What was that transition like?
Woo! Oh man, you already know, man. We got the po' boys, we got the hot sausage with cheese. The roast beef with the extra gravy.
Extra mayonnaise too.
Man. Ooh. Look, I remember when I set out to do it, I said, man, are you going to be diligent enough, man? Like, because I wasn't a bad eater, but I would save a lot of those type of foods for the weekends. Yeah. So I was like, man, when I first transitioned from eating the normal food that everyone else eats, to plant-based or to vegan, I was just longing for that weekend. I was like, I can't wait to get a roast beef no more. I'm a self-actualizer, so I can actually hear my stomach saying, you chip, you can't eat no more, you chip. My belly was talking to me.
So Mike, what made you decide to put down the meat, man, and go vegan? So you went straight from eating meat to going vegan, or was there a slower transition to pescatarian, or you went straight in?
I turned the page the next day. Fortunately for me, I have that sort of discipline. Yeah. And I once again I attribute that to football, right? Football. I was looking over a schedule that one of my former teammates in a group text that we have. He sent it over because he was trying to help his teammates, his team understand how rigorous it is. And he had a time from 6 in the morning to 10 at night. That was that camp time. And that's how detailed the schedule was with football, right? So
yeah,
you gotta remember, right? We're talking about how our lifestyle is. I've been playing football since I was 6.
Right.
I got to playing when I was 26. So that's a long time. So my mannerisms and my behaviors and my habits are already formed to be a disciplined person. All I did was switch the nozzle or switch the needle to being a vegan, if you will, right?
Yeah.
Now, was it a mindset switch? Yes, it was. But I had the conditional background from being an athlete, from being a football player, and not to toot my own horn, you spoke of me being a pretty good athlete. Anybody that's pretty good, the reason that most fans and people come out to watch us play is because they marvel over our discipline. The reason we're so good because we have disciplined ourselves in a way to be athletically good. Whether it's a Michael Vick, whether it's a Joe Horn, or Tom Brady, we have we have understood that we have to sacrifice some things to put ourselves on a level such that we can reach an expected end, right? Such that we can execute that thing. So once I realized what it is I wanted to do and where I was going with this thing, I was able to set myself up for success. Now, did I have some deciding factors that helped slingshot me to that space? Yes, I did. I heard a lot of my coworkers speaking of with the health. And when I read, I see pictures. When I have conversation, when I hear people talk, I draw pictures in my head. That's how I better understand the conversation, right? That's another attribute of me being a good football player. Looking at those plays, understand that was a picture. I was able to mimic that and get in that space. And once I got in that space of autonomy, okay, it wasn't how the picture was. Now I can do my own thing and make a move and get upfield, right? So with that said, a number of people was talking about what the hell, and it was talking about some of the gruesome and some of the heinous things they were seeing on that documentary. I didn't need to see it because me listening to them and painting those pictures in my head, realized and I actualized and say, hold on, that makes sense. Why am I a human drinking cow milk? I should be drinking human milk. That don't make any sense. And you know, not to get political, but to understand how the media sold it to us, milk does a body good and all of that. I bought into that, right? So I realized what chickens was doing, or what they were doing with chickens in the cage and everything, and how wrong that was, and that wasn't right. You know what? I made up in my mind, and I set into my mind, changed my mindset, and said, tomorrow I'm not going to eat that. That next day, my stomach was killing me. I did a lot of research, and I realized that greens has a lot more protein than meat. Can you hear me?
Yeah. I can hear you.
Okay, the screen kind of froze. So once I did a lot of research, I got a lot of information. With information changes any situation, and I understood that I can still survive and get a lot of protein, get my carbs, and get my good fats without eating meat and without eating a lot of those previous foods. I said I'm not going to have a problem being a vegan, and I just got on that train, and I've been riding ever since.
Yeah, I hear you. And I have a couple of things that I want to touch on. So we talked about what the health. Did you have a chance? I want to also drop another one that was really good called Game Changer. Have you seen that one? What's my man, James Cameron? I think he did like Avatar. He's the director of Avatar. So he dropped one called Game Changer, and it's on Netflix. It's on Netflix. So greens are the best. Shout out Ebony. May Day as well. What's up, May? And so that's another one that you should check out. They actually, who did they have? They had a few football players. Kenny Stills. This was when he was with it was a few, like 3 guys from who they did this test and sort of thing. And so it was good. It was a very good show. Now, Mike, you talked about the discipline as an athlete, right? And I want you to break that down, because the majority of the people that may view this may not have that, come from that background. And my biggest thing with this is to give value, and then for people can take something, make it digestible so they can take it and apply it to their life to enhance their life. And so what are some ways, what do you think people can do that may not have been athletic, not have played any organized sports? What can they do to sort of hack that sort of athlete's mindset to help them in their everyday life?
Gotcha. Well, always winning in the morning. I suggest to anyone to win in the morning. Start a routine. Everything is about routine. Everything is about routine. A lot of people like to compare themselves to a lion. We got to realize that a lion wakes up in the Serengeti and eats the same thing every day.
Right.
So we talking about mindset, and we talking about how to hack into that certain form of discipline. We have to realize and become comfortable with doing a thing over and over and over again, right? So one way we can hack into that is trying to win in the morning. Groggins has a great spiel on YouTube about it, speaking about winning in the morning. And what he's saying, as well as what I'm trying to convey, is that, let's just say if I say I'm gonna make a commitment to wake up at 5 o'clock every morning, and that's a task for me. If it's hard for me to do, I could probably wake up at 6:30 or 7 that I normally wake up in, but 5, maybe even 4:30, that's hard. So let me just start right there at 5. Let me make that my commitment. So let me write it on my. Let me try to change my habits and move into an actionable item of a space, right? So ways in which I'm going to kind of like move into that actionable space, or put the carrot in front of my own self, right? Because it's a self thing. It's a self thing. So one thing I'll do is write on my mirror every morning when I wake up. Or if I'm doing waking up in the morning to go use the restroom, I have it written on my mirror. Wake up at 5. Wake up at 5. Wake up at 5. I'm a firm believer that everything is about observation, imitation, and repetition. When you
give me that one more time.
Observation, imitation, repetition.
Got it.
You know what I mean? So when you observe something, I got it written down. I'm gonna observe it. I'm gonna repeat it. You know what I'm saying? Observe it. I'm gonna imitate it, and then I'm gonna there you go. Observation, imitation, repetition, and then it's going to become a cycle. So now I know the day before, I'm amending my routine and my schedule, because I know in order for me to wake up at 5:30 or 5 o'clock the next morning, I have to get a certain amount of sleep. So if I'm going to sleep now at 10 o'clock, I have to now scale back and start going to sleep at 9, 8:30.
Yeah.
Which will allow me the resting time to wake up now at 5:30.
Yeah.
Now, some days will be off, but that's the vicinity that I want to be in. That's going to help slingshot me to that next space of, okay, now I'm consistent with waking up at 5.
Yeah. And so how do you the person that says, well, you know, how do you break that habit of putting the phone down, putting work down, and separating, to transition from going from 9:30, 10 o'clock sleep time, right, to 8:30, 9 o'clock sleep time? Like what am I doing to make that happen? You know, for someone that may be struggling with that and saying, okay, I hear those guys, you know, but like, what are those steps that I can do to make that happen tonight, tomorrow night?
So we want to start by going forward. When we wake up in the morning, be it our regular time, I wake up at 6:45 every day, take a shower, taking about 15 minutes to take a shower. I'm just speaking of, you know, just hypothetically speaking of just regular person, right? Most start time for work is maybe 7 o'clock if you're a teacher, 8 o'clock, depending on what, you know, space you're in corporate America. So I get up at 6:45 or 6 o'clock and I take my shower, boom, go through my normal day. So when I wake up, I want to write that down. Wake up at 6:45, showered at 7. You want to write down the things that you did throughout that day. Made my coffee at 7:20. Put my clothes on at 8:01. Left the house at 8:45. We want to keep an account of the things in which we're doing, and that schedule was such that at the end of that day or at the end of that week, because we might forget on Tuesday to write down what we did that day. We want to do that for a week, and then we want to compare our schedule and see where our time lies in that throughout the day, from the time we start, from the time we get back home, and it's quitting for us. So we could, you know, it's done. We ate our dinner. Now we sit down flicking the TV, if that's the case, by let's say 7, 8 o'clock, if that, right? Yeah. Those are normally around 9:30, 10. We want to write all that down. So now when I say, okay, I want to amend my time and start waking up a lot earlier, now I see what my days entails. Now I can say, you know what? This not important. This not important. I can start scratching stuff out. So when I scratch stuff out, now I'm buying myself time, right? Yeah. Okay, I sit in the lunchroom for an hour and 20 minutes. That 20 minutes, let me take that back. I'm going to sit there for an hour and eat. So now I got 20 minutes for right? When I got off, I went to happy hour for 2 hours. You know what? I want to hang out with my coworkers. I'm gonna go there for 45 minutes to an hour. Nothing past an hour. So now I got an hour back. So I want to do that for everything in my life. So now I see where I got time at. So now I can start amending my schedule, and now I can start plugging in. Okay, waking up at 5:30, meditating at 5:45 to 6 o'clock. Yeah. Start right there. So once we amend and we expunge some things that we know we could buy time from, when I reschedule and I craft up a new schedule, I want to start slow. So now I'm gonna wake up at and maybe meditate for 15 minutes, and now I'm gonna go shower. And so I want to hit that. I want to wake up and I want to be consistent and hit that target for about 2 weeks straight. And once my body, my mobility, my mindset, because everything is mind-body connection. Once I connect with that, then I can add something else in.
Right. Awesome. I appreciate that, man. That was awesome. So, Mike, to get back to vegan, man, what's been your biggest benefit becoming plant-based vegan? Putting down, like, man, you had to put on a lot of stuff. The po' boys is a little bit of it.
Yes.
You put up the shrimp and the crawfish. You put up the jambalaya, the beans and rice. I guess you can't do beans without that andouille.
Yeah, I do beans.
Why are you doing it?
I'm big on beans.
I had a lot to put down, man. So, like, what's been the biggest benefit for you becoming vegan?
I can feel in my bones. That the mobility is a lot better, right?
Mm-hmm.
I would wake up in the morning and I would pop my elbows and pop my knees. I think that was due to a number of the bad, whether it was pus or whatever the bad stuff that was in meat. I think it was doing something. Like I said, as I did a lot of research, I delved in a lot of research, and I realized that a number of red meat, it does a lot of bad things to your joints, right?
Yep.
That was the first thing that I was able to realize that I had a lot of better joint mobility, if that makes sense. Not eating a lot, because I was under the impression before I changed my eating from like 3 big meals or probably 4 big meals to little small portions, right?
Yeah.
My body composition felt a lot. I was a lot bloated before. I wasn't as bloated now as I drink a lot of water, right? I'm drinking beach juice. I'm drinking a lot of green juices, right? A lot of that stuff, it kind of made my digestive system a whole lot different. When I go to the restroom, it doesn't smell.
Speak on it. We all grown.
And as soon as I go, it's like a minute and I'm gone. Before I'm sitting, trying to push, and trying to get stuff out, and then just sitting in purgatory. I'm like, man, a whole lot of things. So I always had a beard. I always had this.
Yeah.
As you can see, my hairline is kind of receding a little bit. But before, it really was a lot different. It was back because the way I was eating was messing up my hairline.
Yeah.
I changed the way I was eating, and my hair got darker. I actually had a bald spot right there. It grew back.
Word. Okay.
I got football feet, which meant one of the old linemen stepped on my big toe and it turned black. Yeah. Eating no meat, it turned back a little bit clear.
I got you.
That was weird. So I attribute all of that to me changing my diet and eating plant-based.
Yeah, that's beautiful, man. That's beautiful. Listen, you got one of my members, May, here. Just got off a Zoom session with her. You making a strong convincing statement here. And even my wife, man, she's plant-based now, so I feel like it's coming to me soon. It's coming soon.
Let me get my old plug in, because I'm old now. I forget that I'm 38. I don't feel 38. I don't think 38. Right? All my students and all the young kids call me Unc. You know, in New Orleans.
Right. Yeah.
The only person that's gonna give you the knowledge, right? But one thing that I love about this too is that when I look at formal pictures of myself from high school or even college, I was much bigger, right? I'm 168, between 168 and 173, depending on how much I eat. But my face looked just as young as when I was in high school.
Yeah.
That's
Listen, you're making a convincing statement over here too on my end, man. So that's
when we were young and somebody was like, man, how that person looks so young? I want to ask them, what's the fountain of youth? The fountain of youth is eating good, eating food that's on the ground, because we are like plants. When we eat stuff, we grow. Food is electric to us. This fruit is electric. I kind of meditate over my food, my mangoes, my apples, my oranges. I meditate over these things, right? And when I eat it, I feel the electricity that goes in my body, right? So if we're eating that, right, and we're doing that on a daily basis, that's giving our body positive energy, right? Reading positive information and being around positive people is going to keep that positivity throughout your body all day, every day. That's the fountain of youth right there.
Absolutely. And what I just want to touch on that. What I think what we overshoot a lot is that food has messaging. Right?
Yes.
You talk about food has messaging. And so it's no different than like whatever it is that you put into your body, whether it's music, whether it's things that's not serving you, food, it all is going to have a certain ramification of that. Right?
Absolutely.
And so I appreciate you touching on that, man. Mike, talk to me. And if you can tell me in about 30 seconds, what does a typical day of food look like for you? I've been following you on Instagram and I see, but I would love for you to share your because the one thing I love about your diet is that it's like you said, it's a lot things that's coming from nature. You do versus some of the other things that might be out there. So what I find may plague someone that's trying to make that transition to veganism. But yes.
So first, wake up, have a glass of water, similarly to this one right here, a glass of water. I down that. I'll do meditation. After that, I'll drink some ginger tea, a little small cup of ginger tea. After that, I'll have maybe some granola with some fruit, preferably banana, apple, or orange. After that, I'll probably have a midday snack, maybe consist of kiwi, mango, almonds, cashew, some type of peanut, some type of nut. Then that leads me to my actual lunch will probably be a big salad or some beans and rice, or maybe some mushrooms. After that, I'll get to dinner. Probably be like a quinoa bowl mixed with quinoa, mushrooms, all your peppers, green, red, yellow peppers. What else? Yeah, that's typically it.
Awesome, man.
Get up in the morning, repeat the same thing.
So one of the things, man, is your energy, Mike. Like you feel it. You've been having this energy, and it has not changed. I'll be 38 in a couple of weeks. 10 days. I'll be 38. Thank you so much, man. Appreciate it. And like, what are you doing? Speak a little bit about. I know you touched on a routine. If you can give it some bullets, so something that can be actionable on to create discipline, because discipline, obviously you have to make a decision, right? To be disciplined, right? It starts there. And then when you make that decision, you cut away all of those other possibilities, right? But it's also the practice of being in that routine that you talked about, right? Yes. And practicing it. And sometimes it may not be always the same exact thing, right? But you have those minimums almost that you got to set minimums and be like, come hell high water, like it doesn't matter, like I'm doing this thing. Like what are those minimums for you that you're doing on a daily basis?
As it relates to just my everyday lifestyle or
mindset, I like to start there, man. Mindset and body. I would love to hear what those things are that you are practicing on a daily basis.
Gotcha. As I mentioned, meditation first thing in the morning. And most people, I know when they hear meditation, they think it might scare some people. But really all it is thinking about the things that you're going to do.
Yeah.
That's all meditation doing in a quiet space, right?
Yeah.
Because when we go out into the world, we have so many outside distractions. And we are people of influence. We like to do what we see. As I mentioned earlier, observation, imitation, repetition. And if something is agreeable to us, we're gonna be attractive to that, right? So we have to really know who we are first, right? And meditation allows me to do that. So I meditate first. because I want to construct my day and how I want it. I know something's going to interrupt my day, but I have to have that actual written out thing in my head to know that, you know what, that wasn't a part of my plan. So I have to push it on the side and keep on going my plan, right? So meditation, the first thing I do. The next thing is I'm very big on emotional intelligence. Kindness.
I know. Can I just say something? I know that's a big thing that you talk about, especially when you're talking to the youth, mainly the young men at home, is emotional intelligence. Because we have a thing like a lot of crime happens at home due to feeling played. You know what I'm saying? Like that is a big thing with crime down in New Orleans. Just someone feeling played, feeling slighted, feeling like they were just done wrong. And so I know you talk about that a lot, and I wanted to talk about just kind of put that out there to give a little bit of that backstory. So if you can finish speaking about the emotional intelligence, that'll be awesome, man.
Right. So if we can understand that aspect of life as it relates to emotional intelligence and empathy, right? I know I live in a world and I understand that things goes on in the world. Some things might be wrong, some things might not be so wrong. But if something wrong comes to me, I have built up into myself. I have crafted up and I've constructed and I have calibrated in me an emotional guidance system that helps me understand that trouble going to come my way, but it's not personal, right? So once I realize that it's not personal, I can then say, you know what? Once again, let me move myself on the side and continue on with my own personal journey in life.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? If that makes sense.
100%.
So with that, I make sure that as I go out into the world, I try my hardest to perpetuate that, right? So meditation, practicing kindness and emotional intelligence, absolutely make a plan. The next thing is I want to make sure that whatever it is that I have to do within my area of expertise, I hit my checklist. I hit my checklist, right? So as somebody said, make a plan. I know when I get to the schoolhouse, I got duties to do. I get there before everybody. I'm there at 6:45, 7 o'clock most days, right? So I go through my checklist and I do those things. When the kids come, whether we're doing virtual, whether they're transitioning to a different place in the school, I just make sure that I do everything with fidelity.
Yeah.
You got me? We know ourselves as a person. We know if we're taking shortcuts or we know if we're going the full mile and we execute. That's a personal thing, right?
Yeah.
Shannon Sharp, not Shannon Sharp. Coach Mike Shanahan has a book called Think Like a Champion. I read that book when I was in college. Quick analogy: his dad told him to go and clean the garage. He was so enthralled with going back outside to play basketball and football with his friends to the point where his dad said, "Make sure you clean it, all right?" So he hurried up and cleaned it any kind of way and went back outside. His daddy called him back inside and said, "Guess what? You got to do it again." He said he learned a valuable lesson in that time. He said, "Do it right the first time, so you don't have to do it right the second time."
Right.
So
listen, that's
in your personal life, you don't have to worry about any ambiguity.
Yeah, I love that. That's something I try to instill into my kids, man. So we have a saying, do it right so you don't do it twice, right? And so it's just setting that standard. That's just something like constantly coaching my members on as well, is like, moving well and just doing things by setting the standard for yourself. And there's so many benefits for that. It makes it a lot easier to get into that routine that you're talking about. When we talk about specifically about exercise and you're doing a squat the same way every single time, the right way, right? It becomes, you lay down that mile and it becomes second nature, right? So now when you're not around a coach, you're doing the right thing when you're going down to pick up your trash and you pick up your kids, you don't have to worry about hurting yourself, right? Yeah. So like being diligent in setting that standard and setting that bar. Mike, that brings me to this inspirational concept, man, that was the title of this, saving the best for last, man. So hold your weight, please.
Not sometimes, but all the
time. Not sometimes, but all the time. And like this, you took this kind of this saying, hold your weight. And like, what's the origin story around hold your weight?
Well, as you know, life is about growth. And in my past life, when I was a young boy growing up in New Orleans, I didn't have the opportunity to grow up in a middle class household or even a affluent household. So I had to do things a lot different, right?
Yeah.
So learning how to get to an expected end in a savvy way, if that makes sense, taught me a number of things, right? And that also, once again, attribute to my discipline and to the hardworking person that I am. But as I moved up and pulled myself up out of bootstraps and faced harder and a lot more adversity, I realized that every level of my life, I have to be able to perform at my best, right? And at some point, I have to realize that the cavalry is not going to come to help me, which means I might not have help, right?
Right.
And if something is my responsibility, I have to make sure that I take care of my responsibility. So as I was faced with a number of challenges and a number of things growing up, I realized that I didn't really have time to sit back and chill. What I mean that when I was a child, I'm the oldest of 7 kids. So my mom wasn't always there in the house, so I had to be the heavy of the house, and I had to be a big brother as well as a father, right?
Right.
Transitioning from that in one day, coming from school, helping my sisters with their homework, cooking food, leaving there and going to football practice, being successful at football practice, leaving football practice, coming back home, doing my own personal homework, being successful in that area, going to sleep, waking up, preparing my siblings for school the next morning, making sure they get to school, making sure that I'm in a good mental space and a good emotional space before I got to St. Aug, right? Still being successful, getting a good GPA and following all of the decorums at St. Aug, because that wasn't it was a military school, basically. For those who don't really know what St. Aug is, it's basically like a West Point, right? So there's expectation and there's a high esteem that you have to hold, that they hold you to, and you have to execute, right? You have to meet those challenges. Just being able to recognize and realize that every single second, every second minute, every single hour of my life and every day, I had to hit the target without complaining, without wincing, and without crying. Yeah, I had time to rest, right? It may not seem like I had time to rest, right? But I did have time to rest. But once again, it was on me to utilize my time wisely to make sure that I use all of my energy and all of my time and all of my wherewithal for the things that I really had to execute. And essentially, the things that I had to hold my weight with, the things that I had to be responsible with. Make sure that I use all my time and all my energy for those things, whether it was going to school, being a big brother, being a father figure, being a coach, being a leader on my football team, right? Being personally responsible for my homework, being personally responsible for my workout, being personally responsible for me, doing all of those things. Once again, in order for me to be successful as a football player in high school, as a football player in college, in the pros, and now successful in my everyday life, I had to hold strong to something. What they say, if you don't stand for something, you'll fall for anything. So the weight, it rung in my head because I knew that I really didn't have no help to succeed in some of these things that I had to do. So essentially, I told myself every time, hold your weight. And then it just materialized into something once I got out of college and said, you know what? Make it like my Nike. It's my Nike. Nike said, just do it. Hold your weight. Not sometimes, all the times.
I love it, man. I love it. So if you're able to share your definition, because you have it on your Instagram, what does it mean?
Yes. So I see it's typed up here. Hold your weight is an inspirational concept which encourage people to use their full potential in every aspect of their lives through the development of their minds, their bodies, and their spirit. My principles are discipline, structure, and stability. If you discipline yourself,
repeat that again.
Discipline, structure, and stability. DSS. That's what I call it.
Discipline, structure, and stability.
Yes, sir. I tell my kids, let's go. We gotta perpetuate DSS. We can't slack. We gotta make sure that we do DSS. We got to discipline ourselves. If we structure ourselves, make sure stuff that's organized. And if we stable, we got balance with those three principles, with those three attributes, we can succeed in anything that we do. If you look at the Army, if you look at any Fortune 500 company, that's the way in which they govern themselves, through discipline, through structure, and through stability. You're going to succeed with those.
Awesome. And now, Mike, if you can touch on, like, how are you able to create the structure? You know, you had to wear so many hats at such a young age. You've been holding your weight for forever, you know? And so how have you, like, what, you know, how were you able to create that structure? And how can someone that may be viewing this feeling like, okay, I do need that discipline, right? And like, I need the structure. How does someone create that structure? How can we put that into tangible, sort of actionable steps that someone can do to create that structure? Is it going back to kind of auditing your time, amending your time? There we go.
Absolutely. That's it. Okay. That was I didn't know that you were going to ask me about hold your weight, but that was the actual inception, or the actual quintessential of how do you get yourself in a position to essentially start to hold your weight.
Yeah,
that's it right there. Because once again, like I said, you got to work. You got to realize that it's a not selfishly, but it's a me thing, right? Yeah. It's a me thing. So in every area of my life, when I jot down the things that I'm doing, and you know this as a quarterback, right? You have to, if you have to know the difference. Speaking of a quarterback, the difference between a 5-step drop and a 3-step drop, right?
100%. Yep.
When you go home, you did it at practice maybe 13 times, 14 times in team apart, or when y'all was in indies. But when you go home, you have to also, once again, repeat that mannerism over and over and over, so that you can know at this particular time when this play is called, this is a 3-step drop versus a 5-step drop, right?
Yeah.
So once you impute that into your everyday mannerisms, then you're going to start to use those new habits, and then you're going to start to see yourself essentially holding your weight in that new area of change in which you're trying to create. That's all it is.
Awesome. What is your vision for hold your weight? Like what would this look like?
Well, my vision, once again, is to also, outside of me doing a lot of coaching, I also do public speaking. That's really my passion, and that's really where I understood that. I said, you know what? I do have a mantra. I do have a brand where I want to go and encourage people on how to hold their weight, how to be successful in areas of their lives where they're feeling or where they may be faltering. How to take the fact that I use this concept to make myself successful in my life, because success is relative, right? We all want to be successful, right? You asked me earlier, what are some of those things that I do? Creating those small wins in our life. When we create small wins, it makes us want to do the big wins, right? So being a champion, I was a city champion when I played Pop Warner football in New Orleans. I was a city champion when I played junior high football. I realized that pain that I was experiencing going to practice and playing those games in the season, those aching pains throughout the year, those were the things that led me to be a champion. So within my everyday life, I realized that I am going to experience pain. So that pain lets me know that I'm doing something right to continue to be a champion. So I run to the pain instead of running from the pain.
I love that, man. I love that. And honestly, I don't think there's a better way to end it. I do have a couple more things, man. First and foremost, before you go, where can any of the viewers connect with you online, anything like that?
You guys can connect with me on Facebook. My name is Michael Franklin. You can just type in Michael Franklin. You're going to see it comes up, as well as on IG, on Instagram. I'm Mr. Franklin _ hold your weight, as well as on Twitter, hold your weight.
Awesome. We got it there. And Mike, listen, I got something. Man, thank you, brother. I appreciate this, man. So I have, whether it's members, when someone find out that I'm from New Orleans, everybody asks me, where should I go? I'm like, to be honest, Homie haven't lived at home since 2001. Since I left college, I came home for I graduated, was home for a few months, and then Hurricane Katrina happened, and then I was right back up here. So I was home. I've been home like 3 months since 18, graduating high school, man. And so, man, can you share some places for people to visit to get some good once open side once outside open back up?
Yeah,
let people come in there. Where some spots that people can visit to like get some true New Orleans cuisine, get some good music, the whole vibe?
Well, by me changing my eating habits and my lifestyle, I got to start with my vegan joints first.
Respect, yes, sir.
There's an awesome soul food vegan spot that I'm so head over heels for. Their food is so amazingly good. They're called Sweet Soul Vegan.
Sweet Soul, SOUL Soul.
Yes.
Sweet Soul Vegan. All right, let's get that one up on the screen. Sweet Soul Vegan. Shout out to the owners there too. Let's send them some business.
And the other one, there's another one that's called ITEL Garden. ITEL, ITEL, I guess, Garden. ITEL Garden.
ITEL Garden.
They got an amazing shrimp cauliflower burger. They have an amazing wrap. Yeah, ITEL Garden. As well as there's another joint in the quarter. They're called Meals from the Heart. Like from the heart. Meals from the heart.
They're cooking with a lot of love over there, huh?
Oh my God. They have some amazing breakfast options. They have these vegan pancakes. Oh my God. They're so good. They have this crab. They have like this vegan crab cake. Oh my God, bro. Man, it's amazing.
You already sending some business their way. Look at the energy, baby. It's there.
It's amazing. You can't go wrong. You can't go wrong nowhere downtown on Canal or Bourbon Street. Anything you guys do down there, for those who may not be vegan, for those who want to still try some of the good Cajun food, some of the good shrimp, some of the good regular seasoned shrimp or New Orleans seasoned shrimp. Any restaurant down in the quarters you can go to. You got Deanie's. You got you remember Deanie's now.
That's the seafood right there. You definitely go.
You can't go wrong. You have who else we got down there? Darn, come on. A lot of things escape me, but anywhere down there on Bourbon or on Canal, you can't go wrong.
Perfect.
Absolutely. And good music.
Brother.
They got an area of the city that's called shoot. I'm getting with these new names, guys. I'm a true New Orleanian, so our telltale signs and our landmarks are different than the former names that they gave in the city, right? Because after Katrina, they kind of like name places, right? Right. Apparently, the names was already there. We just wasn't using the names. You know, we nickname everything. So,
yes.
So they got a place in the Bywater that has a lot of good small juke joints for people that's coming in town. It's called the Bywater area. We got a place called Frenchman Street where there's a number of good jazz spots, a number of good juke joints. It's a very eclectic area. You got jazz, you got rock, you got punk, you got brass, a lot of second line bands. That's down on Frenchman Street. You got your rap places, you got your live jazz playing. I mean, it's amazing. You can't go wrong on Frenchman Street. Yes.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Perfect. Mike, thank you, my man. Thank you. I really appreciate it, man. Hold your weight, and we're gonna keep connecting and keep building. Please let us know. Let me know however I can support, man. I love what you stand for. I love the work that you're doing in the city, and like making it better for the youth, because the not to sound cheesy, but the children are the future, So like, yes, sir. And so thank you for what you're doing.
Get to the future, because the worst thing in the world is an older person with no story. and a young person with no dream. That's the only way they're gonna get to the future. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? So we got to help them fulfill their dreams so they can get to where they need to go at.
Right. And then they can have that story to pass it down. Man, thank you so much, Mike. Appreciate you, my man. Have a beautiful evening and like keep building, brother.
Send you the link. We about to create an actual website to get the merch out because a lot of people want the merch, so I got to get it out now.
I've been asking for the merch, I feel like, for over a year.
Yeah.
Let me know. Let me know. I got you.
We created more thing now. So once I get that site up and running, I'll shoot the link over. And you can share with your community, and we can start something together.
But that Mike, my brother, take care. Thank you so much, my man.
Thank you so much.
Later. So guys, thank you all so much for tuning in. Hold your weight. Hopefully you all had some good stuff from Michael Franklin, and you can follow him on Instagram, on Facebook, Michael Franklin. You can follow him on Instagram at Mr. Franklin _ hold your weight. All right. And thank you all. If you all have any questions, feel free. I will stay on here for another 3 minutes. And if you're interested in, creating this change, creating the discipline, having accountability so you can continue to create the practice of exercise and nutrition, please do, without a doubt, go to jcfextreme.as.me to hop on a 15-minute call to see if there's something that can work for you, okay? And see, we'll discuss your goals, your nutrition, as well as any medical history and those things that go into the program, all right, gang? So I'm going to give it another, let's say, minute and a half. No questions come in. We're going to be heading out. I want to thank each and every one of you for tuning in. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And so each of you, please do have a beautiful evening. Keep winning. And those that are up north here had a lot of snow last night and today. And so hopefully you guys are all good, shoveling and all of that good stuff. All right? Make sure you bend your knees. Don't use your back. Your legs can handle a lot more than your back can. All right, gang? All right. So it looks like there's no questions coming in. I want to thank Melissa S. for doing such a great job on the back end. Ciao. All right, gang. You all have a wonderful, beautiful night.